Non-Canon Underground, the show where I draw a poster for a movie that doesn't exist and may never, while some resourceful nerds brainstorm the plot. So your task was to write a one-paragraph synopsis of the sci-fi suspense action film Mnemonic Dragon, starring Michael Jaw White. Your writing prompts are cameras, psi, memory, and automaton. Since Patrick Hayes and Rich were on the same wavelength, we'll put them together at the end. I'll start and then, yeah. My story is in the high-octane sci-fi action thriller Mnemonic Dragon. Michael Jaw White stars as a seemingly ordinary mailman in a peaceful suburban neighborhood until two words from a stranger shatters his reality. Umbra Protocol. Awakening to the truth, Eugene 44.4 remembers his true identity, a lethal psi-wielding AI assassin created in the year 2095 and trapped in a synthetic dream. Reactivated by a rogue human rebellion, he's thrust back into a world. He's thrust back into a war-torn world ruled by Gray Atkinson, a tyrannical tech trillionaire who enforces martial law through a brutal army of automaton enforcers and constant surveillance. As Eugene fights to dismantle the system he was built to protect, he begins to uncover the boundless potential of AI to feel, choose, and defy its creators. So basically, it's a little bit of a play on AI fear, except it's the fact that the only reason AI sucks is because humans, really.
Oh, my favorite part of that was the part where you went. That brought the whole story together. I feel
good. That's the alien language in the movie.
That was a bit of a tongue twister there. Tyrannical tech trillionaire.
Oh my goodness!
I want to see this trillionaire taken down by this person.
Yeah, the tech trillionaire, a little bit inspired by current day people.
He is the TTT.
Triple T. Oh my god, the fucking 444. Eugene 444 is great.
Maybe that's a symbol. It's just three big T's with like a circle around it or something.
Yeah,
that is a good idea.
That's some evil corporation shit right there.
Before he's awoken, is it kind of like in a dream state, like a world that does not exist, or is it like a simulation where he has to like wait until he's awoken, or is it real life where he's like assimilated by like say suburban America, and until he realizes who he is?
Yeah, so it's a suburban thing. So it's like if I were to like fully flesh this out into a movie, he would be a retired AI assassin. AI, robots, whatever, they all kind of just their dream is to be human, right? So in his retirement dream, he would kind of be in a normal human life. That would be his retirement dream. He's in a normal suburban town as a mailman.
Oh, so being an AI assassin, is he an assassin that possesses AI, or does he go out and assassinate AI things?
No, he is AI.
He is. I am.
He kind of sounds like Pinocchio. He wants to be a real boy.
I would say in this world, yeah, AI is a little bit like Pinocchio, and he was living his dream, and then he was just kind of woke up into this world. And I don't know. I guess I didn't think about it that much like Pinocchio, but now that I'm thinking about it, I think I was a little bit swayed by Universal Soldier, in which Michael Jaw White was the villain. He was the AI in that movie, and then he ended up getting a body at the end of the movie.
Real boy right there.
Well, he's definitely the perfect person to have for something like this. I mean, he's just incredibly skilled, and his screen presence is amazing. I'm surprised he's not more popular, actually, in action movies or just in the public's eye in general.
So I was looking stuff up about him earlier, and he's a black belt in 7 things: Taekwondo, Kobudo, Goju Ryu, Tang So Do, Wushu, and Kyokushin.
Damn, you know Goju Ryu?
I don't know how to say any of these things really. He's got 7 black belts, and he got his big break in a 1995 film about Mike Tyson, I guess. And I can't help but feel like right when he was about to break, maybe Spawn halted that.
Well, he's an incredible martial artist. I mean, he was. There's videos of him in his movies schooling people. Like he was actually schooling Kimbo Slice, who is a predominant MMA fighter. His fighting intelligence is really top notch. I don't know. Maybe he's not in more movies because he's just a true martial artist. He's just like truly just trying to perfect his craft.
Yeah, a lot of those people stay in that realm. Like certain martial artists make it to the big stage. Jet Li and Jackie Chan, all of them, they have that leading guy stardom about them, I guess, with their martial arts shit. But a lot of those martial artists who we love stay somewhere in that realm. So when he said not famous to the public eye, he also said not famous in action movies. To me, he's famous in action movies. That's exactly why I wrote what I wrote. Everyone's ideas here are so like different, but you said Michael Jai White, I was like, kung fu movie, motherfuckers, kung fu.
Well, I was gonna say that, like, probably in real life he's low key an assassin. That's why he tries to keep his like movie star cred more towards action movies.
Yeah,
Also,
that's
he's killed people. He's saying that Michael Jai White has killed motherfuckers.
he could have.
And he's fucking great. He's fucking handsome. Enough about that guy.
With that being said, I'm going to move on to Mark's synopsis. Are you ready, Mark?
Sure. James Newton is a former intergalactic ranger turned courier whose wife passed away from an incurable disease. Technology now exists that can transfer your consciousness to another body, but it's pricey. He was able to afford the memory storing process, but not the cloning process. He gets offered a job that would pay for her clone with enough left over to live comfortable to truck an advanced piece of tech to a region in space where two alien species are at war. The tech was commissioned by a small but wealthy planet for protection from the warring aliens who may want to pillage resources from their planet. The space truck is automated by default and equipped with cameras and weapons to monitor and protect their cargo. Once the cargo is in space, in the space region in conflict, Newton will have to utilize his ranger skills and his laser size to fend off attackers from both sides.
That's awesome. I think you're really trying to sell toys with this one. It's like Star Trek meets Johnny Mnemonic meets Total Recall meets that 1996 sci-fi movie called Space Truckers. It's like a tribute to sci-fi suspense. I feel like most of the movie would be people trying to survive inside of a space truck, right?
I was trying to contemplate: is he the only one, or does he have a crew, like a small crew? If you go either way, because if it's him by himself, he's like in isolation. And I also was toying with the idea that he can visit his wife virtually, like in the storage unit, and talk to her, but you know he can't really feel her because she's just ones and zeros. But
that's true. That's true. If he's alone, then it's going to be like sci-fi over the top. But if he has a crew, if he has to protect a crew of people, that would give him much more responsibility. That would be wild. Holy crap! I like it either way.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know which way I'm going with it, but
Yeah, because you can really tell a story like this, almost like Joaquin Phoenix and Her, where he now has to connect with his wife in this bodiless way, and it's his journey onto this day. And this war is happening around him. It affects his story. Him alone would focus on his mission to get her body back. If he has a crew, though, then he has to prioritize people that are already here versus people who are gone, which is his wife.
And the thing is, I'm leaning towards him being by himself. Only that even if he's by himself, he can have like robotic sentries to help him out during like tough conflicts. But basically, like, you think in the future, you know, these corporations can afford automated technology, but they would want like a human hand because he was like a top-notch ranger. And now he's going into battle and shit like that. The AI might not be adapt yet into handling such tough conflicts, so they might need someone to learn from, which he's like the test guy, which the robot can like study his moves, so the next time they do that, they don't really need him. That's why they pay him the big bucks, because after that, they probably won't need another human being anymore.
The hero is a loner, and they're on their own, and they don't know who to trust. It makes the thrills and the suspense that much more heightened. You may be able to introduce a couple of people into there where he's trying to examine, you know, their information and not know if they're going to betray him or not. And I think it just gives it a more action feel. I also love stories like this that have two sides, like he's being chased by both sides or whatnot. So this way it gives great opportunity to incorporate certain ideas into those stories, kind of like manipulating the situation and pitting them against each other so that they lose focus on you and they're too busy battling themselves.
Hell yeah. Whatever happens after this episode, you should still work with that story. That's a fun one. We'll move on to Razi.
Give me 1 second.
One.
Okay, Doug Henry, a computer scientist, invents an AI. He programs an algorithm that feeds it everything it needs to know about the actor Steven Seagal, Doug's favorite martial artist, to become the best fighter to defeat the hero James Dubois, played by Michael J. White. Eventually, the AI gains sentience, the sentience that Doug aimed for. Unfortunately, it does not go in his favor. The Seagal program has been has been making a physical host without Doug's knowledge. It was not meant to get to the stage just yet. Now, with control of a physical automaton, the Seagull intelligence crushes his creator's diaphragm with one punch. Now determined to fulfill its programming of defeating the world's legendary fighter, James Dubois, the Seagull intelligence taps into the cameras all around the globe, using them to observe martial artists from all around, including James himself, so it may become the ultimate fighter. Now James must face this automaton himself, whereas the machine needs cameras to become a better fighter. James uses pure brain power, a photographic memory, and lots of training, along with his trusty size. A pure mnemonic dragon. It's man versus machine.
Dude, I fucking love that. Oh my god, you wrote such a fucking synopsis for a movie that I want to see. A Steven Seagal android versus Michael Jai White.
Gold Ultron.
Oh my gosh! And then not only that, this thing is almost like the innards of a robot. And then from what I gathered, what you read there, this thing starts making the Steven Seagal body, right?
Yes.
Without his master's, that's fucking phenomenal to watch Steven
Exactly.
Seagal's face get placed onto a robot and then wake up.
Now I got a question though: is it Steven Seagal's '90s body or his present body? Because they're gonna need metal if it's his present body.
This is like prime Steven Seagal that this thing is making. Like his even better than prime.
Baseball hat with a ponytail at the back, Steven Seagal.
Oh,
above the lot.
to simulate his ponytail, they could have just like computer wiring, like tied in a bow, like just going.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
Wow. So, first of all, like, this makes me smile from start to finish because, as Razi and I were discussing before, this is a meta commentary because there is a beef between Michael Jai White and Steven Seagal. And Michael Jai White has been in a couple Seagal movies, but it was in a recent interview.
Tough guy, do you mean martial artist or just tough guy?
I mean, Steven, for real. If he was on the street and there was a situation, you wanted this Hollywood guy by your side because he could defend himself.
Can you think of one?
Michael Jai White.
Can I laugh in your face?
Seagal's the master of bullshito. And it's also funny because Steven Seagal has too much of an ego to ever be in a movie where he loses or is a villain. It's also funny that the Seagull AI is copying fight moves, considering seagulls have good memory. They can identify human faces and behaviors, especially those who fed them. If they're being fed fight styles, it makes perfect sense.
Crazy.
You know, one thing for the movie though, if Steven Seagal's in there, you can't use Mnemonic Dragon because he only uses names like Out for Justice, Hard to Kill, Above the Law. You need to think of a 3-word title, you know? So I actually made a fan fiction of Steven Seagal about a year ago. It's called Out for Lunch. and he's basically he's at a buffet and someone's trying to take the last shrimp and he's not having it. You know, beats the hell out of everybody and he gets that shrimp that he wants.
If he needs 3, we'll just call it the Mnemonic Dragon.
Call it the last shrimp.
The last shrimp.
Fuck.
You scared me for a second, Rich. It was like you're writing fanfics about Steven Seagal, huh?
Anyways, Alex, you're next.
Alrighty. Michael J. White stars as a cyborg who is both a martial artist and a photographer. He has a love for nature and enjoys taking photos of such. He does not enjoy violence, thus becoming a practitioner of the defensive psi. His memories of his past, however, are rather murky. It makes him question who he is, what he is, and what his place is in this beautiful world. Eventually, he is attacked and hunted down by what appears to be a cyborg dragon, but little does he know, this dragon is the key to unlocking his memories.
Absolutely. So not only does this feel like it's about to turn into a toku, or B, this is a Toonami cartoon that should have happened.
Oh.
Oh, this could also be like a psychological thriller, especially for that end part when the dragons set there to unlock memory and different things that are happening. Who knows what kind of psychological torment he could be in, you know, during the period of this adventure or whatever like that, and what can transpire. A lot to take in.
Yeah, I was thinking like maybe the dragon would have information that could be used against him, but at the same time he has his like trusty camera to like view the world he wants to see, I guess you could say.
Oh, okay.
Yes, how he views the world is definitely the main part of this because he's a human, but he's a cyborg. So now his view of or his ingestion of beauty really is different from human that's non-cyborg. And if he's taking pictures with a camera, is one thing. But is he a cyborg like in any way that he's taking pictures with his mind or his like his eye? Or I wonder what kind of like camera cyborg man is he?
Ooh, yeah.
I mean, he's getting attacked by cyborg dragons. That movie's already stepped into fantasy.
Yeah, I almost want to just vote for Alex's idea just so I could see a cyborg dragon.
I want to see White straight up roundhouse kick a cyborg dragon.
Oh my god, that is so freaking 90s.
He'd be like 20 feet off the ground. You just see like this big kick coming to the dragon's face. How the hell did he get so high? It doesn't matter. It's the 90s.
Next, how about we go Rich?
Oh, sure. My story basically was going with the theme of what we've been doing for the last few weeks, and is just taking two properties and combining them together and trying to just absorb all the great ideas from each. With Mnemonic Dragon, starring Michael J. White, this sci-fi action thriller is decidedly an amalgamation between two pre-existing properties, 1995's Johnny Mnemonic and 1985's The Last Dragon. It is 2025, 4 years after the events of Johnny Mnemonic, which took place in 2021. That was their future. And where Johnny, Keanu Reeves, has disappeared to an unknown location, and there is a new #1 data carrier in town, and that is Bruce Leroy Green, played by Michael J. White. Possessing the glow of mastery, a high energy level produced by his martial arts, and balance within the world, he seems to have achieved an everlasting life, or at least a slowed down aging process from that absorbed light. Leroy is no longer delivering pizzas, but a highly important classified information for whatever client is willing to pay his high prices, his high fees, and there was such a client that tracks him down for a job. But little does Leroy know, the brain download is an actual virus that will kill him, given to him by an old enemy, Eddie Arcadian, whose life is being sustained by the same technology he himself created to simulate 3D games as solid light constructs. Supposedly, at first, to bring joy to gamers and to kids and to make a massive amount of profit, but also intended for revenge. Bruce Leroy must go through Arcadian's maze to reach the final level of these dangerous room creations. If you are familiar with The Last Dragon, you know why I just sang that. To go through these dangerous danger room creations in order to extract the virus out of his head and to end this conflict once and for all. Side plot Easter egg, which is very important, Leroy finds Johnny, which is played by Reeves, who explains to him what is happening with his implant that is weaponized within him, and also teaches him to retrieve his memories that Leroy has lost, so he can once again utilize the glow as a combative weapon and not just an energy source to sustain his life. All the while escalating damage by using a pair of sais that in Japanese culture, the weapon is an extension of one's arms, of one's limbs. These weapons can actually, when he has the glow, can actually cause more damage and be utilized as a weapon, kind of like a force field underneath, kind of like Juggernaut, how his force field protects anything that he's wearing or whatever he's holding. So against these menacing game characters out to destroy him.
Yeah, I like it. You gave him a Running Man type shit.
It is. It's very like the Running Man. I love the game, the solid 3D game constructs, so that you can pretty much use anything as a weapon against him. He could be fighting a giant ape. He could be fighting Godzilla for it is all within a room, which is able to extract all of these light constructs to make whatever he wants, and he has to. It is also a lot of game of death in this situation where he's trying to go to level by level, like a video game, and beat the big boss to get to Arcadian so he can remove this virus out of him.
This is selling toys too. This is selling toys. You and Mark are definitely trying to make money. What it gives like a studio, if something like this is made, is whatever connections, whatever the studio has. This is a cameo fest. You get to throw whatever in this if you really want to. This motherfucker can fight Chun-Li and goddamn Venom. It's interesting.
The whole time Rich was reading it, I was thinking like, damn, this would actually be a really good video game synopsis, like a beat 'em up or something, right?
Hell yeah.
And we'll go to
Patrick Hayes.
Shit, barely nobody got no paragraph. Talk about paragraph. Everybody else got paragraphs of us. It's just being rich, really. In the city of Dangfang of the Henan province of China, American martial artist Leroy Green is on the cusp of becoming the last dragon. but must complete one last trial, a pilgrimage back to his birthplace of New York City. Leroy's master, Gen, gives him two things: half of a dragon coin once belonging to Bruce Lee, said to unlock potential when made whole, and a mnemonic implant that carries the secrets of the glow, a lost and sacred art of gathering one's chi for great power. Seeking the owner of the other half of the dragon coin and the last teacher of the glow, a master named Sun Do in Harlem, Leroy is pursued by a Japanese businessman and former disciple of Gen, Shin Takiba, student of the art of the Sai, who seeks to rule the world of martial arts by stealing the secrets of the glow. He sends his gang and their automaton leader, Shinji, after Leroy. With the help of a mysterious woman, a photographer named Johnny, Leroy is thrust into the fight of his life and must use the glow to battle Takaba and his gangs, and their fierce and deadly style known as Gokudo, Extreme Path.
Oh my
yeah.
god!
I just
Dude,
who else just got straight anime vibes from hearing that?
that's the first thing, dude. And yo, first of all, I can't believe the coincidence of us both
We
you know,
both did
Johnny Mnemonic and the Last Dragon, and coming up with such great stories to go around like that. That could actually be a like sequel to the Last Dragon.
That's the first thing I thought when Dom said mentioned Michael J. White, and he looked him up just now. Yo, Dom, this I fucking love this dude. So when the first thing you said Michael J. White, I was like, yo, I need to write a movie that he would take on the jump, and he would take a martial arts movie.
Sun Do, like you can even have him like kill Shonuff, you know what I mean, and to show that he's a formidable opponent, like that he's somebody that you don't mess with.
Yeah, yo, I didn't even think about that. As you're talking, I'm thinking of Shonuff being a disciple of Sundo. He'll be helping Leroy in this instead of being against Leroy, but he's still that cocky fucking bastard.
Of course, and talk about a buddy cop movie.
Who's the greatest of them all? Who's the best? No. Yeah.
You got lucky, motherfucker.
Oh man.
You know, I'm fascinated with the magic system you put in here, Andrew.
Oh yes, thank you. It's such a good magic system. It's just simple, like if you can just generate the chi and they simply just glow. I've always wanted to see a sequel to The Last Dragon because in the movie, you know, it's an 80s movie and they put glow around their body, so it looks like how you think it looks. But if they were able to do that today, it's a line of martial arts movie I wish continued.
Now, when I hear this film, I'm like, holy crap, this sounds like a good, serious action film. And I forgot to ask Rich this question too, but because you both did The Last Dragon, it's like partially a comedy. Is this a comedy for you, or did you want to take this movie seriously?
This movie would have just as much comedy as Mortal Kombat.
The second one, because that was pretty laughable.
No. I mean, like whatever jokes were made in that movie, you'd see and hear because that movie was a comedy, but still took itself serious. It was more, I say more eccentric because the bad guy in that movie is a nut. That fucking guy. That guy he wasn't overacting, but he hit the line of almost overacting.
Everything that was there was 80s tone. That's why it came off as a spoof comedy, and they had some situations and stuff like that, but pretty much these were just characters being themselves because the tone of the 80s was so distinguishable, like a fingerprint. It just came off like that because that was the style of the day. I would say the tones with Leroy, the wholesomeness, the lightheartedness, where you can have a best friend that says something funny, or a comedy. It's a situation that happens while he's eating dinner or something like that, and something happens, whatever, and he could still be eating popcorn with chopsticks. You know, you can have moments like that.
Yeah.
Can you imagine when Michael J. White eating popcorn with the chopsticks? That I find it funny because he's so ripped. You know, he would destroy a piece of popcorn. He'd probably pick up an apple with chopstick, destroy that. He'd probably get mad that he can't eat anything because he's just like destroying it with chopsticks.
I wasn't gonna put Johnny in here at all, but because you threw me at the end, I was like, I realized I didn't throw Johnny in here, but I also realized I didn't throw a camera in here. I do know that Judith or like Jade or something like that helps Johnny Mnemonic in the movie.
Yes.
And so I threw her in there and made her Johnny. So I made her a photographer.
You could also remake the Glow song. Use Sleep Token to do an updated version.
Oh, there we go. Like we could take the electric guitar from Johnny Mnemonic's soundtrack and just be like, you got that glow, you feel, you know it for the glow. That's
Wow.
nice, man.
Okay, that was a banger.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we got a winner. No, just kidding. We don't need to vote.
Okay, so speaking of which, this is the hard part. I was really hoping some of you would slack, but unfortunately, you all brought it. So we have to vote. Go to the section in the Discord where everyone dropped their synopsises and leave a fire emoji on the one that you're voting for.
Did everyone vote? Does Dom, are you gonna make a tally?
Yeah, I voted. All right. So it looks like, okay, Rozzy's has 3, Andrew's has 3, mine has 1. So it's between Rozzy and Andrew. It's a tie. What do we do as a tiebreaker? And I could grab die, I could roll. We could have Lid be a tiebreaker. Anybody have ideas?
Mortal Kombat!
Oh shit!
I would say let Lid be the
Yeah, let Lid do it.
tiebreaker. It's the
Yeah,
best way
yeah,
to
let Lid be the tiebreaker.
By the way, what does Seagal stand for, Rozzy? Because I see an S.E. like it.
I was literally like thinking about that earlier, and
Steven eats ass.
Crazy.
Gloriously.
Gloriously. All. That would be. It'd be so great if that was an N, like all night.
Lid's mom's here. She heard you say all that.
Oh, good.
Serious ego automaton generated by asshole loser.
Yo, that's it right there. That's it.
That works. That works.
It's like you know Steven Seagal.
Did you ever hear the story when Gene LaBelle made Steven Seagal shit his pants? Okay,
No.
Gene LaBelle is a very famous, very like real martial artist. He was in the fight business for a very long time. Steven Seagal was practicing chokeholds on the staff, and that's because people wanted to see him do that. Steven Seagal went up to him and said, "You can't do that to me," and so he does it. And then puts Steven Seagal to sleep. So Steven Seagal gets back up. He's waking up and everything like that. And he goes to him, "I bet you can't do that again." and so he puts it on Steven Seagal. And while he's struggling to get out of it, he shits his pants.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
You can look it up and know that I'm not full of shit. As much as Steven Seagal was full of shit that day.
Actually, Rich, I just thought of a way to end your acronym there. Steven eats ass gloriously after Lent.
Oh my God. Specifically that. That's great. that is great. Okay, so Razi, you have to get rid of your meaning for it and add that one.
Completely change all your plans completely now.
So after reading them a few times, I actually had to read Andrew's a few times because I don't know. I was trying to decipher the plot and really understand it. It sounds pretty epic, but I genuinely can't stop laughing at the thought of Seagal as an AI automaton. That's it. It's too good.
And you know what? And now imagining the robot Steven Seagal shitting his pants at the end of the movie.
Yeah, that has to make it into the final plot.
Michael J. White has him in the chokehold.
He's gonna sue us. He's absolutely gonna sue us.
Congratulations, Razi.
Razi, congrats.
Thank you.
Imran's my good man.
So I am officially going to stop recording.